If my relationships are good, then I feel like I've done what I was here to do. The
Okay.
relationship with the kids, the relationship with the parents, the relationship with the administration, the relationship with my peers. That is that, okay, I can rest in this.
Okay.
I can feel that empowerment,
Okay, there we go.
that
That's what I was looking for.
fulfillment.
Fulfillment and empowerment. Okay.
Mhm.
So your intention is to leave feeling empowered every day.
Well, that would be wonderful, yes. And I know that I'll be exhausted. I mean, that's a
Okay.
given.
Mhm.
And but it's that good exhausted. It's
Mm.
that I left it on the field.
You're listening to Cold Press Conversations with Dr. Jewel White Williams, a lover of numbers, lists, and a good glass of cold pressed juice, who is sharing episodes each week to help you explore the back end of healthcare and health sciences. Where a lot of that grit is done, we'll dive into topics covering research, education, and clinical practices, as well as guest shows with other leaders in the field. Pull up a seat and let's dive into these amazing and game changing conversations.
Hi, Teacher Joy here with Jewel, and let's chat. Let's get to know one another. Hello,
Yeah,
good morning.
good morning, Joy. I had an opportunity to read your website with so many glorious things on there. And, I love social media. And then, of course, you have that hate love relationship because you're like, will I find some fun people in this process? And you just have literally a whole bunch of joy on there.
Yeah, my mom named me right. I tell you what, I hear this more often than any other thing. It's like she knew. Well, I don't know. Do you grow into your name or does your name grow into you? Like, I think I would have had a lot of fun with any name, but
Yeah,
I
that's true. That's
I
true.
embody joy a great deal. I mean, I would have had a fun life if she named me Jezebel. But I think I've served this name pretty good so far.
Oh, that is so awesome. Yeah. I think to answer your question, when I learned even more the reasoning behind my name, it made it even more magical for me. I don't want to even say magical. I don't like using the word magical. It became more of a blessing to me.
Ooh, love that. Tell me more.
So mom wasn't supposed to have any kids. And pop up goes Jewel. Yeah, she was told she couldn't have any. And so dad and mom were just enjoying life, being who they
Living
are
their
and
best
just
life.
loving who they each are. And look up, here I am. And so my grandmother was like, you know what, this is a jewel.
Mm.
And then from there, the name came on. And then I thought about it a little bit, because people would pronounce it so oddly. I'm like, it's like jewelry. What's wrong,
Right,
y'all?
it's in the dictionary. Come on
One
now, you.
L. I'm not Jewel, but hey, it's okay as long as they don't call me anything else that starts with a J. But I really and truly just like I say, I believe it's a gift because we sparkle. Jewels, they take time. Very especially
Mm.
diamonds, everything takes pressure, and it may
Mm.
come out looking a little funky at first, but as it matures and has the pressure that goes into it, then something precious comes out, and sometimes I feel like that is truly me. Sometimes there's a little pressure there and a little something that has a little nitty-gritty to it, but when I really and truly take time and allow it to evolve,
Mm.
then something happens. That magical, glorious blessing happens.
I love that. How special. I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
Shine bright, baby.
yeah. So let me ask you, what do you find as your joy for teaching?
Ooh, great question. I am sucker for an aha moment. I love that connection. I love witnessing that moment when they get it. When they get that discovery or that wonder or that connection or that, okay, I feel like I'm in a safe space so I can bloom.
Mm,
And facilitating a space for that, inspiring teachers to allow that to happen naturally. It all starts with relationship. It all
Mm,
starts with intentionality, and I love witnessing it. I love getting to be a part of it. My classroom started small and has grown and grown and grown and grown, and now really influencing other teachers' classrooms. It's given me a level of joy I didn't know I could feel. I am so grateful to get to be a part of so many lives and so many of those joyous moments, when you get to see a kiddo and they're like, what is this? I get to play with this. I get to jump all in. I get to do what I want to do to explore. There is this euphoria, this bliss, and it's a vibration. It runs through the air. And if you have a classroom full of these little scientists running around and getting excited about learning, oh, you have to open the doors and windows. It is so full of light and life and fun in a high quality early learning classroom. You feel it when you walk in, you feel it when you experience it. And if I can harness that, if I
mhm,
can duplicate that for
mhm.
others, then they get this sense of joy. Woo! My life's work is done.
But would you say it's done?
Oh, it's never ending, honestly, because there's
Right,
another
right.
kid, another classroom, another my job in that spot, in that
Yeah.
moment is good.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I was wondering, because like, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now, even though I'm not in the pre-K-12 setting, but I'm in an adjunct faculty position, I will never ever forget the 22 years I had in the classroom, either as a classroom person, okay, I call them leaders, because when you're in your classroom, you're leading that classroom all the way, and then as a principal. But one of the things that I realized is that we have to create sometimes our joy because, our classroom, we're the ones who give that culture in that classroom.
Yeah, yeah. And an unregulated adult is not gonna be able to regulate an unregulated child. And so that starting point is healing thyself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, no, because I was telling someone, and I just finished doing a clip really recently, that when I focus on wellness, I focus on all types of wellness. We have social wellness, we have environmental wellness, and then one of the other things is the mental health, the intellectual part of wellness. And then in order to have that type of resilience, that personal resilience, you got to deal with yourself first because your environment is what can dictate what happens with you within that classroom,
Yeah, yep. If you
creating that
believe it's
resilience.
gonna be hard, it will be.
Right, right, exactly. And then that doesn't help you in the process of being healthy yourself. You're pouring in the joy. Sorry, I couldn't
Yep,
resist it.
yep,
You're pouring the joy into your kids, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we all have to do when we're pouring into whomever we're teaching. We have to provide, like I provide my gems, my jewels into them. You're providing your joy into them. But if my environment is right, meaning me selectively, then it doesn't help my classroom,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
Now, there is also a piece where preparation meets enthusiasm, right?
Mm,
That's intentionality right there. If I want to be my best self in the classroom or for as a parent, then A, get myself right.
yeah.
But B, let's be intentional. Let's be on purpose. Let's set our space up for maximizing that profitability of joy being, that goal is giving that opportunity for discovery and joy. And so what I call is play on purpose, right? We're here to play. We're here to have a great time. We're here to enjoy this moment and fill up our little love cups. But we're also here to be on purpose. And we are building our next generation. And we want to do it with intentionality. We want to do it by facilitating a space that instills joy, instills learning, instills sense of self, and mindset and confidence and discovery and independence and autonomy. And the more we can give those littles in our lives, that environment of that purposeful play, I think everybody wins.
Okay, you mentioned something beforehand, which I was huge on. Um, the planning part. The planning part of being a teacher is literally what allows you to have that freedom within that classroom.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think sometimes for the novice teacher or the teacher who's just starting out, they find it as, oh my gosh, this is just rudimentary. I have to create a plan, then I got to follow it. But it creates the peace in your classroom because when you're organized,
You
then
feel
you
it.
can set your purpose in your classroom and have that joy,
Yeah.
have that fun, enjoy what's going on. And that way you're still meeting the needs of your curriculum, but yet you're creating and building that relationship with your students. And that's where you can invoke that fun, invoke that joy, invoke those lasting relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it, girl. You totally do. And I think that in in my experience
Mhm.
as a young teacher, I was like, you know what? Forget planning. Let's just have fun.
Mhm.
And then the chaos. And then I lose the moment and the enthusiasm runs out. And then it's just like, this is chaos. I'm a, that police officer that's like, no, you stop, no, you go, no, that referee breaking things up. And it turns out that my fun is lost.
Mm.
But if I get so focused on the planning piece and don't bring that enthusiasm and that enjoyment, then I get stressed that they're not doing it right. Right?
Right?
No, 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 that is supposed to be used with this. No, wait, this is what this plan is for that. And so at either end, there is stress.
It is. It really is.
But if we bring it together, that's where that enjoyment lies.
And that's where I come in, having been there and used to mentor also. And even though I'm not in it right now, but I still focus on the pre-K 12 and the higher ed teachers, that's where that wellness comes in because that stress level only is indicative of creating a chaotic classroom.
You got it, girl. Mm-hmm.
We always tend to have a pushback on planning, a pushback on reading data, a pushback on feedback. All of them go together. When you have planning, when you have the data, when you have the feedback, that allows you to really organize yourself and have and create that classroom. But that's where you need to come in and know yourself of what you can do well. And then if you can't, then you seek assistance. And that's another piece that I think we are hesitant to do is seek
Mm-hmm.
assistance from someone who has that intelligence, that genius of helping us get through that path.
You got it. Exactly. I mean, okay, I'm prideful sometimes.
Right.
I am a strong, independent woman. I love to do it all by myself. I know it's right when I do it all myself, but I lose something when
Mhm.
I don't ask for help.
Mm.
And that piece, I am a creative. I'm a visionary. I love the fun side and the execution. And yeah, I don't love the planning all the time. And the tedious bits of the data entry and the reflection. And that's not as fun. But when I find others that help complement, like that's the part that they get excited about, it
Mhm.
brings me excited about it because the collaboration piece, you get so much joy from that.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's the biggie. We talk about the
Mm,
relationship with our students. We talk about the relationship maybe with our colleagues, but the collaboration,
yes.
you
There's
just
no room
nailed
for
it.
competition if we've got collaboration.
Oh. That's one thing I really enjoyed about having my grade level team meetings. We collaborated together, and sometimes I just let them have their own little thing right there at the moments. Then I would bring them back in and say, "Okay, y'all, these are the 3 things that I heard that sound really good. What do you like most?" I just want to understand. We have the data, we have the plan. We already went through the plan. We already know. Y'all already worked it out earlier. Now it's time to really dig into that data, the DATA, and now we have this feedback telling us this is what we need to do. How can we collectively do this as a team? And it's so interesting. Sometimes they would say, you know what, I got it. Teacher A said, I'm really good at this particular section in this curriculum for this particular time. And such and such said, no, I'm really good at this point. I can teach it, but it doesn't hit very well. So what they ended up doing is like literally splitting the kids up. Yeah, seriously. They split the kids up. This one grade level was like the beast. They would split the kids up for math. They had one who actually really could do well. And then of course, my sped teacher had to follow where the sped kids were. And they would actually work together. And whoever taught whatever was the height, the best for them, then those kids went to that, those who struggled the most went to that teacher. Those who
Mm.
kind of had it, they went to that teacher. And the kids who just needed that higher level thinking, I put that gifted teacher right in there with them to kind of give them the extra push. And I'm telling you, we saw scores going.
Out of the box thinking. I love that.
Yeah. And I think that's where we, for our own self-care, we go into our zone of where we are the best. That makes you feel good. That helps our happy.
Yep,
Helps our
yep.
happy. That helps us to have that joy feeling like you talk about, Teacher Joy, because as a principal, I was elated to see that type of camaraderie going on and then seeing the successes that actually occurred in that classroom and actually all the classrooms. So of course, you know me, I've got to hop on to all the classrooms and see how they evolved it. And we had teachers who had 30 plus years of experience to teachers who had 0 to 1 year of experience in this team, and to see them work. And I even had one teacher say, wow, I didn't even know it could work like this. I'm like, yeah, but that's what happens when we get together, when we talk. And then you don't have as many call outs as a principal. You don't have as many call outs for saying they're sick or ill. Don't get me wrong, they got tired. We all got tired.
Yeah, yeah. We are fulfilled and exhausted. That is the tagline of a teacher right here.
We are, yeah, and it happens. I think that's one of the things that I love about teaching is that you can find there is some joy, some collaboration that can happen.
Can I go back for a second and
Yeah,
point
go
out something important that I heard?
what?
It was your love of the data that gave them the validation that they did it right.
Mm,
You analyzed the outcomes
mhm,
and brought it to their attention so they could celebrate it. Now, if they were looking at the data, it would just be, all right, numbers and letters, whatever. But you saw the vision of, hey, look at this progression. Look
mhm,
at what we earned together.
mhm.
That is how you get to celebrate it.
I would put it on a sheet for them to see it, so I'd have all the teachers there, and then they could see what's there, and they could see their own. And it allowed them to literally look at it collectively. And then I could put it up on the board, for them to see the results, and we can actually dive deep into the data, which it was really,
Mhm.
really fun at moments. And then sometimes we cried. But anyway, but it allowed us to see which question. So we looked at the stems of the question to find out what was missing maybe in the teaching method. Even though it was during planning time, it allowed them to plan, so they were able to plan, and it was only once a week, and that gave them the option to kind of modify their lesson plans, and then they have their own meetings, throughout the week. And I just pop in and say, hey, anything I can help you with? Is there anything else that's there? And sometimes they'll say, well, we decided, and I know we decided as a group that this was working. We got in the classroom, it's not working. So can we do X, Y, Z? I said, do whatever you feel is going to work, and then we'll just evaluate it later. I mean,
But if every teacher could have a supportive administrator like that, that would be a game changer. How do we get to duplicate you? Because that admin piece, that support, that paying attention, that uplifting, that is a key component to avoiding burnout. They have value.
yeah, they love me in didn't at moments. I'm just gonna be real. I mean, I'm an honest person. I know they loved it at moments and they didn't like it at moments. And yes, we did get it to the point where we would have either the reading coordinator from the district come down sometimes once a month, or the math coordinator come down, and they would take it from a whole nother level, looking at the data, and they would break it down even more than what I did, because they had, of course, a little more time. That's part of their that was part of their gym.
Focus,
Um,
yeah.
and we would have those meetings to kind of make sure that we could meet the needs of our students. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it got exhausting after a while because you kept felt like you're just data, 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 data. But
Mhm.
I realized that one of the key things that helped was feedback, the type of feedback that I provided. So I had to be intentional about the type of feedback. And I realized that feedback can be done in so many ways. You can give super, oh, you did an excellent job. Well, what did I do excellent on? Why did I
Mhm.
do excellent on it? That goes into helping the person. They call it occupational wellness. And the reason they call it occupational wellness is because you need to see how your employer, your career is allowing you to feel like you're being poured into and feeling well.
Mhm.
And that's why I wanted to be very intentional and very careful about the process. And you're going to have to give some good gems in it, though. Yes, it may not have been successful, but as an administrator, you got to find some joys in it. You have to.
Yeah.
And don't give superficial feedback. You've got to
Well,
give some
and
in-depth
it
feedback.
discredits you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It, like, waters down the good stuff.
More than you know.
Mm.
Yeah, more than you
Mhm.
know. Yeah, and I just want to say this, even as a principal, even from the higher ups coming down, that kind of feedback still needs to be reciprocal though too. You see where I'm going, because whatever the principal receives from the higher ups and then they disseminate it to the teachers, that's why you have to be very intentional about what you give, because then again, it goes right into the classroom.
Mm,
You don't want your
mhm,
teacher to go
mhm.
in and say, "Well, central office told me XYZ." No, it's not the kid. We have to meet various criteria in order for you to pass the end of year assessment, or the end of assessment for that particular subject. So got to keep all that in mind.
Definitely. And it's not easy,
Mhm.
but it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel sometimes when you're in the classroom, Joy, when it's coming from all angles, from parents, from your administration? How do you feel collectively? Like, if I told you, okay, today is Friday, but you catch my drift. But if it was truly the Friday, you know what I'm saying, and you're getting ready to get off of work, what would you say is your most contemplative moment that you had leaving your job?
That's a good question. I love to bring it all back down to the relationships,
Mhm.
right? If my relationships are good, then I feel like I've done what I was here to do. The
Okay.
relationship with the kids, the relationship with the parents, the relationship with the administration, the relationship with my peers. That is that, okay, I can rest in this.
Okay.
I can feel um, that empowerment,
Okay, there we go.
that
That's what I was looking for.
fulfillment.
Fulfillment and empowerment. Okay.
Mhm.
So your intention is to leave feeling empowered every day.
Well, that would be wonderful. Yes. Y- and I know that I'll be exhausted. I mean, that's a
Okay.
given.
Mhm.
And but it's that good exhausted. It's
Mhm.
that I left it on the field, right? A ball player, you don't want to go out and not be tired at the end of the game. You want to give it your all.
Yeah.
Even if I failed, I can hold my head up high and say, I did my best. I left it all there. I gave it my 100%. And even if there was some chaos and even if there was some sadness, that's okay. It's an investment. I did my best. Even if I don't see the outcome today, I know that I did it. Therefore, it's a long game. I will get that reward of that investment with that child or with that lesson because I felt that I gave it my all.
Mm.
That's where I know that I get fulfillment.
Mm. But see, what you said may help others though too. The investment that you put in, and it goes back to talking about your purpose, your planning, and giving the proper feedback, looking at, how you're valuing your own self in this process. And it's all an investment.
Mhm, mhm. And in specifically in early learning, you often don't get to see the outcome because it's all investment in their foundation. The outcome, really, it's as they become adults. I
Mhm.
mean, now with Facebook and social media, I can track some of my students. I see some of them in college now. I'm that old. And it is beautiful to see that they go into the industry of teaching or they come back and as parents and say, wow, I learned so much. But rarely in the industry do I get to see the true outcome of the hard work that I do, but I know it's there because I have that faith. I believe in what I'm doing and building that solid foundation for them to be great future employers or employees or parents or students or, community members. And so the more that I can give, the better their outcome can be. I often don't know how good the outcome is.
I'll leave you on a positive note.
Yeah.
This week, I was contacted by one of my former students. She was a very amazing student. And she doesn't mind me saying this. She has special needs. Because she was in a wheelchair, but that was all that was special because trust me, she had everything going for her. And now she's a speaker about who she is, what she's gone through, and everything. She's a big speaker. She talks about all of this. And for her to just reach out this week was almost fulfilling. She poured into my cup.
Mm.
And I was so elated. And I see and hear from my students online, surprising, they'll reach out, can I connect with you? And I'm like, you're 30. Yeah, you can. You're no longer 16, 17, 18, you know. But it doesn't happen often, but when they do, and when I see them doing some amazing things, it makes you feel so good. It really does. And deep down, I would love to hear some of their stories about what it took to get where they are. And I think that's one of the items that we as teachers would love. We wish that we had like some kind of like button as say, hey, just contact you, let you know, kind of thing. So we know exactly where they are. Because especially if they're elementary, most of the times it doesn't happen often, but they don't really remember who you were. They remember your face, can't remember all the idiosyncrasies that happened, one of those things. But you brought something up that was really, really good. I love that. I love that. So, Joy, it's been a pleasure. I thank you so much for just you and I just having a conversation about teaching, about ourselves, about how it focuses on our mind. I thank you.
I am so grateful for this moment.
I am too.
Hey, friends, I am Teacher Joy, author of How to Teach Joy. It's a simple guide for nurturing a child's development. Check it out. It's a children's book. It's a children's book for adults. On one side of every page is an illustrated story that discusses and teaches child development to children, how brain development happens, and in a fun sing song sort of way that they get to learn about child development and how they're learning. And then on the opposite side of every page is a parent teacher reference guide that talks about how brains get developed and how we can love each area of our development as we grow and learn. And so this special book, How to Teach Joy, is an Amazon bestseller. It is available everywhere. Check out my website at teacherofjoy.com. Follow me on all the social media platforms and check out this cool book. It's a great tool to use for your family and your students. And come and have some fun. Let's play.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cold Press Conversations. If you love this episode as much as I did, I need you to head on over and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This is Dr. Jewel signing off to health and cognitive happiness.